Hello, party people. All right, so I haven't been doing my video blog, my video diary for a couple of days. Life's been somewhat boring. I'm not ready to expose my life on camera per se, so I just give you a little bit of what I'm going through during my change, during my journey, and so thank you for being here in my journey. I did write a few little notes to kind of help me because I can get off track and start rambling to you guys, and you know I'm good at rambling, so I'm gonna try to stick to my little notes. Yeah, they're not working anywhere, so I might look away a whole lot because I definitely want to make sure that I remember this stuff. Remember, the video diaries are for me, and if you just so happen to be on this journey with me, maybe it inspires you, then cool. Yay. If not, then keep on swiping, moving, scrolling, whatever, and that's okay. So today I wanted to address today's change is about setting up boundaries and not people pleasing. I mentioned in the previous video that one of the things was realizing I still have these traits of people pleasing. I still people please, and so it's not a trait, it's I people please. And so I thought I grew out of that, but realizing that I have not. Sorry, my air is on, so I don't know if it's too loud for you all. I turned it down as much as possible. But people pleasing, if you don't know what people pleasing is, if you're not sure if you're a people pleaser, do you find it hard to say no? Do you find it that you always want to make somebody happy, that you'll go above and beyond? You do the things that people go, whoa, like, who does that? They're looking for a bus pass, but you have the money to buy them a car, so you buy them a car, not a brand new one. I've done that in my past. And so you'll just go out of your way. You'll accept people's abuse as acceptable dysfunctions as well. Your excuses might be you don't really know what their past is, and so since they haven't learned it, it's okay. And as a therapist, I usually will embrace that and say, well, yeah, they have some things going on in their past, and you kind of like gotta give them a half of a pass so that they could learn to do better. But if they deny it completely, then you just gotta walk away from the situation. So a people pleaser may embrace that pass as a whole pass, or it's okay, and give them more extended time than they really are deserving. Some people will never change, and people pleasers will see a person's potential more than a person can see it. And if you can see a person's potential more than they can see it in themselves, and really will never really get it, like over and over and over, and you're steady kind of having to massage that ego, or to build them up over and over again, and you see it longer than 3 months, longer than 6 months, then it's time to go. I gotta bag up. These are my boundaries, these are my limits. But a people pleaser will extend the gift of acceptance, of accepting verbal abuse, physical abuse, financial abuse, marry abusers, all kind of things, church abuse, family abuse, children abuse. Like, people will start to recognize that, hey, I can kind of take advantage of this person, and people will get so used to it and so comfortable with it that they find it as absolutely normal. So then when a people pleaser says, I want to change, they find it absolutely abnormal. Like, what's wrong with them? Why are they doing this? They really don't recognize that the dysfunction is not them study pushing and pushing, they only see it as, man, this person's dysfunction for not being able to accept my junk, or keep feeding me, or keep coddling me, or keep whatever. And when all that person is doing a disjust to themselves and the other person. So people pleaser is needing to have approval, having to have that validation. So you might be very confident in who you are and what you are, and all of a sudden you go, you know what, I'm not sure. And so you start asking other people to validate you, or, hey, what do you think about that? And really what you're trying to see is, is what I thought or what I believe credible, and the reality is that everybody has different views. At the end of the day, I make my own choices and my own decisions, but I would have to go through a plethora of people to say, like, hey, what do you think about that? Hey, what do you think about that? Wanting to get supervisors or other people's validations, or family and friends, like so many people, like stunting my own growth, business ventures or whatever, because I'm nervous about standing out and standing on my own, wanting there to be somebody with me to help me through it, or to help me make real good decisions. Or if I made bad decisions, then I can say, I guess we just didn't know, as opposed to, well, dang, I failed it, and so I did that, so let me just keep moving on. And people pleasers are people who just want everybody to like them. They don't want to disappoint other people. They don't want to frustrate other people. They don't want to rock the boat the wrong way. And it's weird because, people might say, oh, Soneta's always argumentative, or she's always, my grandma would say, you should be an attorney because you're very argumentative. And it's weird because it's that fight of wanting to believe what I believe and not wanting to give in and be a cattle because everybody else is believing. But yeah, at the same token, okay, I don't want to rock everybody the wrong way. How oxymoron is that? Hypocritical is that? And so most importantly, they are the people who want everybody to like them, and that was me. That is me. I have boundaries where I'm not going to go all out, but I was a people pleaser that was terrible at it, like would do anything to make sure. So I grew out of that, but still finding myself back into some of those familiarities because it's what I've known. And so before I know it, you gotta stay on your personality. You gotta stay on who you are. And for me, I have to stay on who I am, because if you don't balance and you don't do checks and balances on your own self, you'll spiral back into the old behaviors that you overcame. And so that is where I am now, finding myself in old behaviors that I overcame these things, or finding myself with brand new behaviors that I've picked up from other people, or learned new tools to cope, new coping skills that aren't necessarily the best coping skills, and so I'm struggling with my words today. I'm having lots of struggles with my words, so please forgive me. I can definitely see that the head trauma issues are definitely taking its toll, so kind of like bear with me. This is all supposed to be self-therapy for me, and this is all supposed to be helping me make my changes and being accountable for them. So I have all right, so if I'm struggling with some of my words or the appropriate words, one, I like to use practical things. I don't like to use jargon that everybody doesn't quite get. And two, I'm just really struggling today. So I'm trying to promise not to make this very long, and that's why I wrote things on a piece of paper. And I'm coming off as the way that I normally would come off when I'm training others or teaching others, or kind of being the workshop person that I am, doing my motivational things. But I am learning to be the life coach to myself. And so remember, these videos are for me to look back over. And so I am talking to me the same way that I would talk to you. So if you're gaining something from this, awesome. If you're not, cool. At the end of the day, my number one viewer is me. If I never have any views, that's okay. Okay. All right. So I need to tell Tanetta that. That's okay. All right. So why do I have insecurities? Well, people please, and people pleasing usually derives from a lack of self-confidence, having that insecure feeling, not really sure. And I grew up really awkward, insecurities and not confidence in self, or not confident in the discernment. And when I was growing up, I am the youngest of, oh gosh, I forget how many kids there are in total with my father's children. So I want to say there was about 7 that were around, maybe 6 all the time. And so I'm the youngest of all of them, like all of them. I think my sisters have a younger sibling, and so I call her my younger sibling. She's my honorary little sister. But out of who I grew up with, my siblings with blood running through our veins, I'm the youngest of them, and there is a 9-year difference between me and the second youngest child. And then I believe it is I know my brother and I are like 14 years apart. And so I believe that it is about 20 or so many years between me and the oldest. I could be totally wrong. It could be 25 years. Just trying to remember how old he is now. So maybe it's not. Yeah, it is. Let me see. Okay, anyway. It's for me to figure out. So anyway, we have a big number, maybe about 22 years, 23 years of difference. So I was always told, get out of the room, go. If I said something, oh, that's stupid, that's ridiculous. I was the baby after everybody's exhausted with kids, and the teenagers are like, oh gosh, please go away. You're getting on my nerves. You got me in trouble. So I was the brat, and I was spoiled. And so I really wasn't wanted, really just pushed away a lot. Like I was just a I can't even say that. I was just a body in the room that kind of was there and sometimes remembered and sometimes not. I remember an ex-husband who grew up with my family, and when we got together, he said, I remember you because I felt so bad how nobody paid any attention to you. And he recognized that because of some of the dysfunctions that he went through in his life and in his childhood. I never realized that somebody saw that and recognized that. So it'd be interesting to know what other people notice. But anyway, I'm 14 minutes in, so that's kind of like some of my reasons for people pleasing. My insecurities came with not being able to be a part of the conversations or what the fun or anything. And so I had siblings that smoked weed. I mean, they were in that era of just like really hanging out in the 70s. Get out of here, Tanetta, get out of here, you know. And so okay. And so and my father, wanting to make sure that I was different than the rest, treated me different, never let me allow around a lot of stuff. Some of the dysfunctions I just wasn't allowed to be around, and some of the dysfunctions he did was just like wilder than wild. Like, who does that? But I was different. I was socially awkward. We moved around a lot, so I never could embrace friends for a long time. What does that say? I was deemed insignificant, and I stayed home. I was the baby of the family. And so everyone expected, as I started to grow, I started to evolve and find things that interest them. So I've got cars moving around me. So things like, if I found their things that they were looking for. Oh, thanks, Tanetta. So now I'm appreciated, I'm validated, I'm significant. If I learned how to play a video game really well and I reached top levels, oh my gosh, look at Tanetta. If I sang really well, oh, Tanetta, can you come in here and sing? I was now getting attention, I was getting approvals, and I was getting my ego stroke, and people liked me. And so if I learned how to set the VCR up on the television, oh, that's Tanetta, that's our Brainiac, she kind of knows this, she's really smart, oh, she's got good grades, look what she's doing in science, she comes home and she teaches us this stuff. Oh my goodness, Tanetta, come in here and show Granny what you've learned, show Granny that, and sing that song for Granny, or whatever. Oh, Tanetta, that's wonderful. And so it's what stroked my ego to go, oh, this is how I please other people. I can get the attention that I need and be significant if I make sure that I find what they like and I'm usable. You know, I can be used, I could be a help, I could, you know, make them smile, and not realizing that I'm setting myself up for my own boundaries, lack of boundaries in life. I'm just coping with life and not knowing anything's wrong with it. I'm just trying to make sure that I fit in somewhere, because it was hard to fit in. I was a goody two-shoe, or what some of my family would say, because I didn't grow up in all the black schools. Even though we moved around a lot of my schools were the white schools. And so, oh, Tanetta's a white girl trapped in a black girl's body. She doesn't really fit in here. Or my friends like, oh, she doesn't smoke weed, so, you know, she can't really hang around. Oh, you're a cheerleader. You know, it was really hard at finding my space. So I would just find things to please other people with. So everybody expected me to have answers and to be the rescuer. I'm the baby of the family, like I said. I could always find things for my siblings. They would get into trouble, do some stuff. I'd always be the person to kind of fix that or rationalize it and made some understanding about it, or let me go get your kids for you so CPS don't you know, oh, the police came, I got the kids, you know, let me keep my record squeaky clean to make sure that I'm always available, to make sure that I could go bail somebody out, get their kids, whatever. I gotta keep my record squeaky clean. I gotta get a good job to make sure that I'm always going to be there for everybody else. My power is low. Let's stick this in there. I got a feeling that my goal is not gonna happen. All right, so a long video like that, it's okay, it's for me. I'm trying to get it. I can do short videos for other people. I can't do that for me. All right, so we're all plugged in. Battery's not gonna die. All right, so changed everything here. So yeah, I was kind of like that rescuer, that like the savior, you know. Oh, Tanetta come. It didn't matter what I was doing. You know, if I was going to school, Tanetta, can you come and do this? Tanetta, can you do this? Can you take me here? Or you got a driver's license? You got a car? Or you got food? You know, I moved in with my sister. You got food? Let me have some of your food. And I'm like, my pantry is this big and your pantry is this big. But, you know, and everybody expected me to say okay, because most of the time it was good. If I told you no, it was because there was a doctor's appointment or something going on that I absolutely could not get away to help you, but I would try to find a way to figure it out later, you know. And so that's just who I was. I couldn't say no because I was appreciating being wanted, being appreciated. At least that's the way I viewed it, that I'm being appreciated. I remember when I first told my sister no. She was like, oh, Tanetta, I need you. And I was like, oh yeah, no. And she was like, she was sitting there in front of all her friends and she just started laughing, just wailing. And I was like, you know, struggling with, you're gonna say no, you're gonna stick with no. But she irritated me so bad with her arrogant laugh of, yeah, right, till I was like more encouraged to go, no, I'm not gonna do it. And she was like, I know you're kidding. And I said, no, I'm not gonna do it. And she was like, what do you have to do? And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I have to go take care of me. I gotta go do my stuff. Like, no. And she was like, pissed. And she just kept talking about it to like egg me on, like feeling guilty, whatever. And I was like, no, and grabbed my keys and left. Through the years, I started learning and finding my voice. Like, people could say all kind of bad things about me because I was passive aggressive, and I still have some of those tendencies where I'm holding so much stuff inside, tolerating other people, that I go rah, and then I'm like this big old bear, and then they're like, oh, she's this, she's that. It doesn't even matter the 1,020 wonderful things that I've done for everybody. It's the bear that came out from the fact that, hey, I need to set the boundary and you don't like what I'm saying, or you're hurting me and you think that it's okay. And people, family, friends, boyfriends, husbands would say, what's wrong with you? Because they're so used to me saying, okay, yeah, you can walk all over me. You know, it's okay. I'll be your Raggedy Ann doll. Just drag me wherever you like. That me standing up for myself was like, no. So let me just get through it so I can find out what I need to do. So I found my voice, but as life and circumstances started happening, I've been in some pretty funky relationships. I started spiraling down again and losing that voice. I lost myself and picked myself back up, lost myself, picked myself back up, help everybody else. That's what I do. That's why I'm a life coach, right? Helping everybody else and forgetting about me. Like, oh no, I'm doing self-care. You know, I'm getting my massages, I'm taking myself out, I'm doing what I need to do, but not really addressing the mental pressure of what's going on inside of me. I'm even going to the therapist. I'm calling a therapist. You know, and it wasn't until this year that my therapist said, what's up with that smile that you do all the time? And I'm going, what? And he goes, why do you smile when you're unhappy? Why do you giggle? What is that? And I was like, oh dang, like I'm a therapist, right? So I'm going, so he's pointing out my quirks, and I know, like, man, he's about to, look, I could do this for other people. I really don't need to be doing this for myself, as long as that I'm clear on knowing what it is. I'm not projecting. I'm not, oh my gosh, Lord, jeez, I know these words and I can't even think of them. It's a little frustrating because this is what I do for a living. yeah, anyway, that's really frustrating. But anyway, I'm not projecting it on anybody else, and so I have this. I'm sorry, getting really emotional because I'm forgetting simple stuff. So yeah, I got this. Yeah. Anyway, my video is gonna get along with that stuff. So I find myself where I am today, lost bits and pieces and fragments of who I am, of the strong person I am, and the weak, vulnerable person that I am. And now today, transparently, I am sharing it with you all. I've given up all my clients to make sure that I heal me. Oh gosh. I remember, I always say her name wrong. I love her to death, but unless I hear it, I can't say it. Ayana. I remember when she fell from grace. Oh, she's going through divorce. She's this. She's got all these problems in her life. And she's the self-help guru having problems. And my heart went out to her because people expect you to be perfect, and when you're not, and you fall, well, you've disappointed them because they needed you to stay on that pedestal. And I admired her strength, her courage, and the fact that she went through what she went through and kept going. And this is me. I'm going through what I'm going through, and I'm going to keep going. I'm going to motivate and inspire me through the same way that I motivate and inspire other people. So just having a little breakdown because I cannot remember a clinical term that's on the tip of my tongue, on the edge of my mind. And it's something that I use quite often, and I realize that this is going to happen with having the post-concussion. So the reality of losing pieces of your memories, and I've struggled with some things in my past from having head injuries, and having these two current ones that have just the word I always struggle with, exacerbated. Made it worse. Frustrates me to no end. So bear with me, Tanetta. And yeah. Alright, so I found my voice and found myself where I am now as time has gone on and life circumstances have happened. My self-confidence began to dwindle down, and started believing what others were telling me. Relationships that believed in me, and like, oh, let me go to Tanetta for advice. And then getting to the point of, I'll give a crap what you said. That's not how it came out. I don't give a F what you said. You can kiss my butt or whatever. And I became insignificant, and really buying into what was going on at home as opposed to how I was making other people feel. Was like, well, my significant other doesn't believe in me and doesn't trust me. So I started losing doubt and self-confidence, and even procrastinated in my own craft. Like, maybe this isn't for me. Until I have really good mentors that talked me through it, walked me through